God damn it!
Let's get moving.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Figured I haven't done a review for a while, so I'm going to do a review on Alien Romulus, because it just came out, and it wasn't actually too bad. It had some really cool additions, like, for example, the face hugger is basically a big, giant, scuttling, fast spider that jumps on your face and, like, face fucks you into an unwanted pregnancy that comes out of your chest, right? But a lot of the previous Alien movies didn't have a lot of face hugger action. Like, Alien 3 was barely anything. Alien 1, you see it briefly in an egg, and then it's like 4 frames of it jumping on his face. Alien 2, I guess it had that scene where Newt and Ripley are trapped in the sealed room with the flowing water and everything, so it scuttles at her briefly and it tries to jump on her. But this is the first movie, in my opinion, that has mass face huggers scuttling like, you know, I'm from Australia, so they're sort of like fucking huntsmen. Massive huntsmen scuttling after people trying to, like, get in their faces. And it's fucking really effective, really creepy, and it feels new. It feels really new for the Alien franchise. So it had some really good stuff in it like that. It also fleshed out some of the android motives from, let's say, Alien 1. In this one it has Rook, which is basically a carbon copy of Bishop. And Rook, his motive, theoretically was to get the black goo from Prometheus. This is sort of carried over in Romulus, and use goo as sort of a steroid, a genetic steroid, to allow humans to travel in space better. That really fleshes out his reasons for essentially allowing the alien to fuck people up, right? In the first one, it was just because they, you know, it was the first time they came across an alien, and the company wanted a fresh specimen of an alien, and it was kind of, you know, blasé about crew expendable, and Bishop realized that the crew was going to kill it, so he stopped the crew from killing them. In this one, it's purely to sort of synthesize the black goo and keep the specimens, but his motive is to the benefit of mankind still, so it's kind of cool in that respect, right? He has like a deeper motive, and it's not exactly evil, even though it is callous towards human life. So it had some interesting motive with the Rook character, which is like the Bishop analog in it. Don't get me wrong, it had some woke shit in there as well. It had black representation and, I guess, developmentally disabled representation with the Andy droid. So it had like a black disabled character. You don't quite realise at the time because it's like a damaged android. But yeah, technically it's fucking quite woke. But, you know, it was fine. It was fine. It was forgivable. had reasonably forgettable characters. Of course, it ran the diversity gauntlet. It had a black android, and yeah, isn't that like cultural appropriation by creating a black android, not a Caucasian android? Although I guess if, you know, white people are technically in the minority and brown people are like the majority worldwide, I guess I can't really complain about that. But if I'm being very racially insensitive, the brown people aren't exactly the ones creating the robots, are they? But yes, so technically it would be white people creating the robots, meaning they have culturally appropriated African Americans in the cosmetic design for their robots, which is its own fucking problem. It also has a Hispanic, and it has an Asian lady who seems to be tomboy at least, but kind of androgynous with like a shaved haircut. Looks a lot like Lev from The Last of Us. If they were looking for someone to play Lev from The Last of Us, like, let's say 2 is a reasonable success, season 2 is a reasonable success, and they make The Last of Us season 3, Eileen Wu, I think the actress's name is, would be a perfect Lev for any later Last of Us storylines that involve Lev. She's a spitting image. You've also got a Hispanic character, and your regular Caucasian final girl. I suppose you have some Brits as well. Who cares about them, right? Especially after. Recent news where it was found that the attacker that caused the Southport riots by entering a dance studio and stabbing 3 little girls to death was in fact reading Islamic materials, but the media completely blocked that, said he was a second generation immigrant, so mass immigration didn't have anything to do with it, and said Islam had nothing to do with it, and he was a Christian, which is just a flat fucking lie. It's weird how all the people pushing misinformation and shit like that are the ones that are most commonly spread the misinformation. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't think you should be in trouble for spreading misinformation. If you're just incorrect, but you think you're right, like, that's fine. But if you have the information and you're deliberately lying in order to raise tension, or let's say if you're a government and you're trying to hide the outcomes of your policies, I think, yeah, that's probably criminal at that point. But I digress. It also has a really cool hybrid, like a fucked up sort of genetic hybrid of an alien crossed with an engineer at the end, because a lady gets wounded by an alien, and then has to inject herself with black goo to survive, and then she ends up giving birth really rapidly because the black goo obviously fucks with the baby, and you get this sort of, it's like a 10-foot tall, thin, sickly looking, like horrible baby sort of thing. And it's actually got really cool design, and it's just got like a malformed, almost childlike malformed birth defect face, and like the second time you see it, it's like eating its mother, so it's like this just brutal animalistic fucking monster with this horrible, almost uncanny valley humanoid sort of visage to it. And it, like, a lot of people didn't like it, like from what I was seeing in the reviews, they thought it looked goofy or whatever. I thought it worked perfectly with the horror, even though this is meant to be alien, so you're not really expecting body horror or something like that, but it worked really effectively in my opinion. I quite liked it. The world building is really good too. Picture free marker dementia Dead Space setting at the start, so you've got off-world terraforming and mining going on, and it captures what real life fly in fly out mining looks like, with like a mining camp like sort of in that vein. It has like the massive trucks and shit going past. It has all the people sort of in twilight gathered around. It's very slummy, it's very mining campy, and it looks really good. So it has really good world building at the start, and then it just kind of, there's a derelict ship. The derelict ship has pods in it and will allow them to get to a different area where they're not sort of, essentially it's like space gulag in the mines, right? Where they're not essentially in a space gulag. It essentially works as a Weyland-Yutani is basically government and company rolled into one, I guess. So it's sort of like a mega fascism. Like, I wouldn't say it's like late stage capitalism where a government and a company roll into one, because that, in my opinion, more resembles communism with government control over all labor and market, etc., right? So in my opinion, it's closer to communism than like a late stage capitalism, but I suppose you could make that argument as well. If you wanted to, use kid gloves on communism, which I think is a fucking terrible idea to do. But, yeah, has good world building, not unlikable characters. I guess the Andy robot's sort of charming with his dad jokes, even though it comes across as, black, retarded demographic capture, I guess, for the movie. The final girl's alright, she's kind of a nothing, but hey, what do you expect? It's sort of a bland final girl. Has the Dick character, which is, I think, the second to get killed, which is like, fair enough. But it's sort of new in its execution, right? Has new execution of aliens. Sort of makes sense with its setting and that sort of thing. That being said, a lot of the plot and everything is kind of irrelevant to character development, so it does function sort of as a space slasher, right? Not a whole lot of character development going on here, more just reactionary. So in terms of story, with character development and emotional arcs, it is basically just a space slasher, so don't expect any, good story arcs or anything, really. It's kind of just the spectacle of horror, like most movies are these days. But perfectly fine, like absolutely serviceable. With regard to that, solid 7 or 8 out of 10, which is pretty good considering it's like, 100th sequel to Alien, and basically sort of a copy of the whole idea of Alien. It's a copy of the whole story archetype of finding a derelict and attempting to loot the derelict, but there's like some sort of horror on board. It's just like a classical archetype of that story, basically. So it's really not bad. It's quite good. With regard to that, doesn't break the wheel in in any way, really, and it does owe a lot to the movies that came before it, but it's perfectly fine. Yeah, especially as like a modern movie, but it is very superficial, quite shallow, no real character arcs, no real development of characters or anything like that. But we're not trying anything new. This isn't like that recent new slasher movie in a violent nature that instead of following, vapid shallow characters around that will inevitably die, follows the killer around. We're not trying to do anything new here, so that's like perfectly fine with that regard. But yes, solid movie, worth a watch. 7 or 8 out of 10. Probably give it a watch. Especially if you're a fan of science fiction or you're a fan of horror. Yeah.
Find something?
Don't see anything.
Jesus.
Spread out. Keep eyes.
Jesus. God damn it.